Hi, John Cronshaw here. Today, I want to talk to you about what I think it takes to becoming a full-time indie author. You know, there are many routes to becoming a full-time writer, but I want to share with you what I did to earn a sustainable income from my fiction. For a number of years, I worked in journalism, writing for newspapers, magazines, websites, both as an employee and as a freelancer. I think my last piece of freelance journalism I wrote was for The Guardian in February 2018. And since then, all of my earnings have come from my fiction, from affiliate income, that kind of thing. It's notoriously difficult to make a sustainable living writing fiction, or at least it was. I don't have an agent. I'm not signed to a corporate publisher, but I am an independent author with my own publishing company. I write commercial fiction. I'm not going to win any literary prizes or please critics, nor are you going to find me on the New York Times bestseller list or, on the shelves of Waterstones or anything like that. But I make more money than the average author, and I get to spend most of my days writing stories. My mindset changed from the idea of producing works of art to producing assets that can bring in a sustainable, recurring income. You hear talk of passive income. I don't really think there is passive income. I think you always need to be stoking the flames a little bit. But this is produce it once, and then you've got a sustainable thing that you can keep on selling. I also had a mindset shift where I realised I had to write to entertain readers, not just for my own ego. So what I did is I wanted to find the sweet spot between, I suppose, the type of stories I wanted to tell and the types of books that sold well, but were also in underserved markets. So they weren't necessarily getting as many books released by corporate publishers as the readers wanted. So I came up with 3 genres at the time. So this was post-apocalyptic fiction, medieval fantasy, and space opera. And because these are assets that I'm producing, I could sell them for the rest of my life. And I don't want anything that will date. So as much as I love reading Isaac Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke and people like that, their ideas about the future seem a bit dated now. They've got one-dimensional characters who seem to be living in a, what would you say, like a future version of the 1950s with electric slide rules and clunky robots and things like that. So I struck space opera from my list. And I'm sure, post-apocalyptic wastelands or medieval fantasy will still feel the same in 50 years' time as it does today. So even though I'd read widely in those genres, the idea is that it's something I love, but it's also something that sells. The next step of my research was basically to find out not what I wanted from these books, but what the readers wanted. So I read reviews, hundreds of them, and got a feel for the types of things readers enjoyed and the things they did not. So for fantasy readers, obviously they love magic, dragons, ancient gods, all that kind of stuff. I think anything that produces a sense of awe and wonder. For post-apocalyptic readers, they seem to like the lone cowboy archetype character. And what I saw was they hated authors who didn't know their guns. So since, in June 2017, I launched my first novel. It wasn't the first novel I wrote, but it was the first novel that I felt was good enough for publication. That was called Wizard of the Wasteland. It's a post-apocalyptic story about a reformed drug addict trying to rebuild his life. I wanted the book as a presentation to be indistinguishable from those released by a corporate publisher. It's got a professional cover, professional formatting, professional editing and proofreading. When I launched the book, it did well enough. But after a few weeks, it dropped to making £7 a day, around that level. But, that was released then, and it's still selling at that level now. So for some, this might be a disappointment. Indeed, I would have had my book dropped by a corporate publisher and no doubt be out of print by now, and it'd be impossible for me to get a second book deal based on that level of sales. But after almost 5 years, this same book is still bringing in around £7 a day. And then I've got 4 books in that series, all bringing in recurring income. And the omnibus of that series has earned double in 1 year what the entire series combined has earned since the launch. And that is not my best-selling series by any means. At present, I've got 8 novels, 21 novellas, and 3 series box sets, all bringing in multiple streams of income. Of course, when you're a full-time author, you're also a marketing company. So even though I try to write every weekday, I also have to get my book in front of the right readers and get them to take a chance on my work. Indeed, I have a prequel novella for each of my series that I give away for free. Now, I know a lot of authors are against the idea of giving away their art, believing it devalues their work. But I know for a fact that the majority of my readers find me through a free book and go on to buy the series. Some buy all my books, some share on social media, increasing the social proof, spreading the word. Some email me, every few weeks, some of them, wondering when the next book is coming. I run adverts on Facebook and Amazon, cross-promote with other authors, and I send out a weekly newsletter to over 9,000 subscribers. My day yesterday looked like this. I wrote 2,500 words towards my book Trial of Thieves in the morning. I recorded a video with my wife for social media, which then went on TikTok and Instagram and Facebook, Twitter as well. I wrote and sent my newsletter, arranged group promotion with some of the fantasy authors, and took part in a live Q&A on Facebook. I then uploaded that Q&A to YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram. So it takes a lot of work to be a full-time writer, but it also means I get to be a full-time writer. So let me know what you think in the comments. I'd love to hear about your journeys. If you have got any questions, if you've got anything you want me to talk about on the show, let me know. That would be great. So until next time, cheerio.